What took me 30 years to realize about forgiveness. Part 1. The lie we've been told. They said forgiveness was a gentle rain, a balm to soothe the ache and pain. But I stood in the storm, unhealed, wondering if freedom could ever be real. For years they whispered, forgive, and you'll be free, as if letting go was a key to unlock the ache inside me. Does that sound familiar? Hello, friends. Today I'll share what took me 30 years to realize about forgiveness. We wear forgiveness like a borrowed coat, hoping it will warm our bones. But what if the fabric is thin and the cold is our own? I believed forgiveness was the only path to freedom. If I just forgive, I thought, I'll finally heal. Isn't that what we're told? That forgiveness is noble, that it's the only way to move on? But each time I forced it, I felt more trapped, more disconnected, like I was stuck in a loop I couldn't escape. Maybe you've felt it too, the pressure to forgive while your wounds are still raw. To me, it raised soul-piercing questions. What if we've misunderstood forgiveness? What if it isn't what we've been told? What if healing is deeper, more personal, even quantum? Part 2. The quantum and neuroscience of forgiveness. In quantum physics, nothing becomes real until it's observed. So, what if forgiveness, like healing, only becomes possible when we observe our pain, honestly, and with presence? We've been taught forgiveness is a moral duty, something we owe others to move on. But science? It suggests something more. Imagine your pain in a quantum state, both tightly held and ready to be released, but only when observed with compassion. Neuroscience shows true forgiveness calms the brain's fear center. It helps us make wiser choices. It even boosts oxytocin and serotonin, the chemicals of connection and joy. Let's define forgiveness first. Psychologically, forgiveness means choosing to release resentment. But if you haven't truly honored your pain, felt your anger, explored your wound, that choice becomes suppression, spiritual bypassing, a mask worn too soon. As Bell Hooks said, forgiveness is not always possible, and it is not always necessary. Trying to forgive too soon is like collapsing the quantum wave too early. You get stuck in unprocessed pain. This is what psychologists call toxic forgiveness, a false peace that deepens the wound. That's when the real trap begins. Part 3. The forgiveness trap. It looks like peace, speaks like wisdom. Let go, move on, but step by step, you sink not into healing, but into silence that devours your truth. Does that resonate with you? We're told, just forgive and move on. But that pressure, it can be damaging, especially after deep betrayal, abuse, or systemic harm. This is the trap of toxic forgiveness. It's rushed, forced, performed to meet expectations. It bypasses your pain, silences your truth. It can deepen resentment, cause self-blame, and break your boundaries. When the soul still trembles, but the lips say, I forgive. This is what happens when forgiveness becomes performance, a hurried ritual to soothe others' discomfort, not our own. And research confirms it. One study found that people who forgave too quickly after being hurt actually experienced ongoing pain and harm because their wounds weren't fully processed. But genuine forgiveness? It arises naturally only after safety, truth, and healing take root. Part 4. Then, why are we told to let go so quickly? Because control is easier than compassion. Religious, social, even family systems have long used forgiveness as a shortcut to peace, not for the wounded, but to protect those who caused the wound. If the hurt forgive quickly, no one has to change. No truth must be faced. No power must be shared. Forgiveness has sometimes been weaponized to quiet, trembling voices, to rush grief, to preserve order, even when that order is built on silence. But sometimes the intention is kind. Forgiveness can soften the heart, calm the nervous system, bring relief. But here's the mystery. Safety born of truth is not the same as safety born of pressure. Even well-meaning forgiveness, if rushed or forced, becomes a bypass, a beautiful mask over a bleeding wound. Field healing is wild, disruptive, uncomfortable. It asks, who benefits when you stay quiet? Who stays powerful when you perform peace? Victims are praised for moving on, while perpetrators rarely held accountable. Because real healing disrupts the societal expectations, it demands truth, it demands change, but witnessing pain is uncomfortable. People crave resolution without the mess. So forgiveness becomes a performance, neat, timed, applauded. We're told to forgive, to make others comfortable. But comfort is not healing, and silence is not peace. And what if the real question isn't how to forgive, but Part 5. Do you even need to forgive? Some leaves fall without a sound. Some wounds linger never found. Is letting go the same as release? Or is forgiveness a different kind of peace? So here's a hard question. Should you forgive someone who hijacked your soul? Your inner child needs one thing above all, to know the harm won't happen again. That's your right. That's the foundation of letting go. Rumi once said, "Be like a tree and let the dead leaves drop." But a tree doesn't drop its leaves in haste. It waits for the right season. Only when ready, within, do the leaves fall. So do we. Letting go isn't an act of willpower. It's an act of readiness. Not about forcing release, but trusting the rhythm of the soul. Like the tree, we shed when we're safe, not when we're told to. Which brings us to the real beginning. Not forgiveness, but healing. Part 6. Healing comes first, and why that matters. In the quiet, a seed begins to grow, fed by the tears we never show. Healing is the sun that breaks the night, turning hidden hurt into radiant light. Psychologist Robert Enright aptly puts it, healing must come before forgiveness, not the other way around. Healing means experiencing the opposite of what wounded you. That means meeting those unmet needs. So, if you were abandoned, you need consistency. If you were silenced, you need your voice heard. If you were harmed, you need safety and protection. When these needs are met, through therapy, community, or reparenting and deep compassion, you stop needing anything from the perpetrator. You realize freedom doesn't require forgiveness. According to quantum physics, the observer effect shows what you focus on shapes your reality. A wound holds energy, frozen in time. If you force forgiveness, you stay entangled in the old frequency. And healing releases that entanglement. It opens new timelines, new realities. And that raises a harder question. Part 7. What if forgiveness never comes? What if the door stays closed? What if forgiveness remains outside? Can freedom grow in pain, or must we wait for rain? The moment I wondered, can healing rise without forgiveness? A door to freedom opened. For many, forgiveness is impossible or even appropriate. And that's valid. It's unfair, even harmful, to pressure someone to forgive before they are ready. What if childhood abuse shattered your self-worth and its shadow still lingers? What if trauma stays in your bones, making the world feel unsafe even now? What if you keep drawing toxic people, as if your pain is a beacon they recognize? What if your potential was stolen before it began? Resentment isn't madness, it's a signal, a response to a wound that never fully healed. It's not the past you resent, it's how it still echoes now, in your safety, your trust, your sleep, and your sense of love. As Dr. Yanis Abram Spring, author of How Can I Forgive You, teaches us, you don't have to forgive someone who hasn't earned it to heal, to grow, or to live a full, meaningful life. Sometimes acceptance, not forgiveness, is the path to freedom. So focus on healing. As Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Quantum healing honors your wounds and lets self-compassion shine through. You step into a new quantum timeline where forgiveness may or may not come, but your freedom no longer waits for it. Part 8. Quantum healing in practice. With every breath, a chance to begin. Healing whispers, you are enough, even when the road is tough. Healing is a quiet, personal revolution. Feeling your heartbeat with gentleness shifts your body from survival to safety. Forgiving yourself for pain that wasn't yours to carry breaks cycles of inherited trauma. Setting boundaries that protect your peace signals to the universe, I am worthy of respect. Laughing again, trusting again, activates joy pathways, restores your natural frequency. Sometimes healing is symbolic. Writing letters you never sent releases stuck energy, restores clarity. Letting go of objects tied to old pain makes space for new vibrations. Walking away from wounded spaces, stronger, collapses old timelines, anchors you in a freer one. These aren't small acts, they're quantum shifts. They change your frequency, they release you from the past. Each time you choose peace, set a boundary, or honor your pain, you take a quantum leap. Here's a simple affirmation for when you feel stuck. I forgive myself for believing I was only my pain. I choose to see with new eyes. I am open to healing, even without forgiveness. Say it aloud, breathe it in, let it begin rewiring you. Part 9, Forgiveness, a personal choice, not a moral obligation. Forgiveness is not a lock or a key, nor a chain that binds you or me. It's a path, a choice. But healing always begins in the heart. You don't owe anyone forgiveness, you owe yourself healing. It's not right or wrong to forgive or not. Both choices can be valid, both can be sacred. Even divine mercy doesn't bypass truth or accountability. Lao Tzu said, let it go or be dragged. But what if what's dragging you isn't the pain? It's the pressure to forgive. That pressure can spiral you deeper into shame, confusion, silence. Letting go isn't performance, it's liberation. And sometimes the first true quantum leap is this: letting go of the pressure to forgive and choosing bravely to heal. So let healing be your garden, turning pain into wings and silence into song. As forgiveness isn't the goal, healing is. Forgiveness may come or not. Either way, you can still be whole, still be free, and still be at peace. Also, I'd like to clear up any confusion. I'm not against forgiveness. I'm against toxic forgiveness, the kind that silences your pain just to make others feel comfortable. Genuine forgiveness is beautiful, but only when it arises naturally from within, not from pressure or guilt. Forgiveness is not a requirement for healing, and healing is the real quantum leap. It's the foundation for miracles, for growth, for new beginnings. Sometimes forgiveness blossoms from healing, and sometimes it doesn't. Either way, healing opens the door to joy, love, and possibility. And if you've struggled with forgiveness, you're not broken, you're not alone. Here is your freedom to break the chains of the past, to reclaim your power, your voice, your life. So rise up, walk forward fiercely, own your truth, and live unshackled, whole, free. If my story resonates with you, know this: deep, real healing is already unfolding within you. There is no clock, no deadline. Honor your journey, tend to your soul. Healing moves at its own pace, and perhaps that in itself is the truest form of liberation. I'd love to hear from you. What does forgiveness mean to you? Share your stories in the comments below. Your journey might be the light someone else needs today. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories on healing, growth, and personal transformation. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed.